Hey y'all, how are all my beautiful friends doing? I hope you all have had an amazing weekend and welcome back to Crime Time with Mal. If you are new and you've never seen me before, hi and welcome. My name is Mallory and over here we cover missing and unsolved cases. If that is something that you would like to enjoy watching, I would love to have you subscribe to this amazing community I have over here. But y'all, today's video is a very long awaited video. I have been covering May Malate's case since the beginning. She went missing in January 7th, 2021. I believe I posted my first video about her the end of January. I became very attached to it. I had suspicions about Larry from day one, and I actually got a lot of comments about how awful of a person I was for suspecting Larry, which, if you don't know, is her husband. But I have a whole playlist about May's case over on my channel. I will link it up here if you want to check it out, you want to get caught up because it has been a while, or if you've never heard about it, I would love to have you go catch up because we are now in the preliminary hearing week. Now this is going to take weeks. Now Larry has tried to declare incompetency to stand trial. The judge has told him that he is fit to stand trial. Well, not only the judge, but professionals. And that's where we're at today. So I'm also gonna cover day 2 in this video as well. I'm probably gonna do that until we get caught up on this preliminary hearing because my internet was out all week and it kind of put me behind. But I'll double up on these preliminary hearings like 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. I had to think about that for a second. So until we get caught up, just bear with me on that. January 11th, 2023, almost 2 years after May went missing, was the start to this preliminary hearing. The media is allowed to live stream inside the courtroom, but the judge may ask the media to mute their mic or turn off their camera at any given point. So there are some points throughout this hearing that you will hear the mic go silent, you won't hear anyone speaking, or you will just see the camera shut off, and that is why. Oh, and I cannot with Larry's attorney. Now, to her defense, I believe she is just like a regular divorce family law attorney. I don't think she's like a criminal defense. So I think she's out of her realm, but I believe Larry was comfortable with her, but man, she is not doing him any service at all. There were 2 witnesses that took the stand on Wednesday. The first was Destiny Johnson, who spoke with May the day that she disappeared. She works at Broaden Law Firm in Chula Vista, who May was seeking to get a divorce from Larry. The second was David Garber, who is a forensic specialist with the Chula Vista Police Department. So let's start with Miss Johnson. She is the finance service manager. She also does the client intakes and the screenings. And she said that May contacted their office and said that she wanted to know how to go about getting a divorce, but she was concerned that she could not come into the office because her husband would either follow her or it would get back to Larry that she was at a divorce attorney's office. She also stated that she tried to get a divorce before, but it didn't go over very well, and she did not mention when that was. Destiny then stated that she was concerned for May's safety and tried to get May in the office as soon as possible within the next 24 hours, but May insisted that she could not come in because she had to go to Big Bear for the celebration of her daughter's birthday, and she was not going to miss it, nor did she want it to be awkward or it to interrupt their family weekend. She just wanted to relax and just have fun. May was extremely excited about this Big Bear weekend trip. May went all out for her kids and for their birthdays. She also said that May's case was out of the ordinary because of some of the things that May spoke about. And then they muted it, so we couldn't hear what was being said. And I'm assuming if this goes to trial, we'll know everything. But Destiny did say that she did not think that this was a normal divorce situation, just with the fact that May said that May made over $130,000 a year, and she was not being allowed to have any control over it. She had no access to finances. May scheduled an appointment over the phone so that May did not have to come in and fear for her safety for January 12th, 2021, but May never made it for that appointment. Now, Destiny sent an email to May regarding all the paperwork, like all the intake paperwork that May has to fill, anybody has to fill out when they go into a new practice. May filled it out within the hour and sent it back. And Destiny said that that was extremely fast turnaround for a client to fill out paperwork. On this questionnaire, there is a question that asks if there is any history of DV, and she states none formally documented. So on January 10th, 3 days after Destiny talks to May, she ends up speaking to her boss, and she tells her about May's situation and how she's concerned. And Destiny's boss agrees, like, yes, I'm concerned about May as well. Let's try to get her in. Will you email her to see if she responds? May never replies to that email. Now, right before this email was sent, the office receives a voicemail. Destiny checks this voicemail and forwards it to her boss. The boss then makes a phone call, and then she asks Destiny to send that email. So whatever was on that voicemail must have been enough to alarm both of them to make them send an email to May. Another part of Destiny's job is to determine if the client needs a TRO before the paperwork is sent out, and then she relays that information to her attorney. On January 7th, after Destiny gets off this intake call with May, the only person that is in the office is the partnering attorney. Destiny tells the partnering attorney what is going on with that phone call and just kind of gives her a heads up, like, hey, may need a DVRO before we get this paperwork sent out to Larry. After they find out that May is now missing, her boss ends up telling Destiny to call Chula Vista Police Department and tell them that they spoke with May on January 7th, or that Destiny spoke with May on January 7th. Now here comes cross-examination to Destiny. And honestly, y'all, I can't. And I don't know if I'm gonna be speaking about cross-examination from here on out. It's not anything against Larry or his attorney whatsoever. I honestly think that the questions and they're just honestly irrelevant and pointless in my opinion. Like, I was struggling to watch that. I'm not gonna lie, I was really struggling to watch the cross-examination. It was rough. Even the judge was stopping Larry's attorney before state could even object to anything. That ain't good. But honestly, Larry's glare during this whole thing really gave me the chills. And I don't know if it's just because you can only see this man's eyes, but he gave no, I don't know. It's just very creepy. And there are a lot of Larry stands out there, at least from what I saw in that live chat watching the trial live. And I don't see how, y'all. I don't see how. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but the other witness was David Garber. He was the forensic specialist for Chula Vista Police Department that took pictures on scene at Larry Millate's home. Pretty much his job is whatever the detectives see that they feel like should be in evidence and taken a picture of, he tells the forensic specialist, take a picture of that. He takes a picture of that. He also collected a DNA swab from Larry. This was collected during the search warrant that was executed on Larry's home on January 23rd, 2021. David said while he was taking pictures, over 300 pictures to be exact, he saw damage to the door in the main bedroom upstairs that looked like it was repaired recently because it didn't look like it was fully dry. There also appeared to be blood splatter in the master bathroom. So basically he just went over the pictures that he took. He didn't say, if they tested it or anything. Obviously they tested it. He doesn't know the results of any of this. His main job is to take the pictures and to collect DNA and just do what the detectives tell him to do while he's on the scene for the search warrant. And that's it. He doesn't know anything past that. Everything past that is the detective's job. And again, during cross-examination, the judge kept sustaining all the questions pretty much. It was, again, pretty painful to watch. Okay, so day 2, they left off with a forensic specialist, and he was saying that splatter was found in the master bathroom, but he did not know the testing results of that splatter, which we will find out later on in this hearing. So after he was done, May Malate's sister came up on stand, which is Mary Chris. Now, Mary Chris, I have shown her in a lot of my videos. She has been the one that is really speaking up for the family about May, and we have seen a lot of Mary Chris, and she is such a kind, gentle, brave woman. Holy crap, this whole family is they just seem like such a great family. So when the defense gets Mary Chris on the stand, they start out by basically getting May's background and how she came from the Philippines. They moved to Hawaii in the 90s. May is the youngest girl out of 6 children. Those parents had their hands full. And she said May was a good student and she was the smart one. Their mom did not speak good English when they moved to Hawaii. So Mary Chris was the one that got the job, and she really helped raise the kids. And she felt like she was kind of like their second mom, not intentionally, but she just kind of took on that role. She also testified that May met Larry when May was just 17 years old, and they were high school sweethearts, which if you've seen my videos, we know pretty much a lot of this stuff in this preliminary hearing, especially during the part when they're going through the witness part. But there are some things with the witnesses that we don't know. But I just want to let y'all know, if you do watch my videos, it may seem repetitive just because it's a preliminary hearing. And then May ended up getting married to Larry when May was just 18 years old. She talked about all the siblings and how they were all very close. They all had nicknames for each other, but they weren't so close that they told each other like every single detail of their life, but they were close. They made camping trips all the time. They hung out all the time. They all really lived within a couple of hours from each other. After Larry graduated high school, after they both graduated high school, Larry enlisted into the Navy and he moved to Virginia, but May stayed behind in Hawaii and ended up going to college. After Larry's training, May ended up moving on the East Coast with Larry, and they moved into military housing. They were there for about 2 years, and then they moved to San Diego, and then they moved to Chula Vista shortly after that, and they've been there for about 5 years. And a lot of the siblings ended up moving to California as well from Hawaii. Again, all extremely close, and between all the cousins, there was about 17 cousins, so a lot of family. Mary Chris said that their main form of communication was a group message through Facebook. It had all 6 of the siblings in it, and in March of 2020, they were all planning a camping trip. With the pandemic around, they really just wanted to get away from everything and be secluded by themselves and just go and ride 4-wheelers and just go camping and have fun with each other. They brought their dune buggies, their RVs, their 4-wheelers, and they just had a complete and total blast. Larry and May went for 1 or 2 nights, and they stayed in the RV with Mary Chris and their family. She said nothing unusual between Larry and May happened when they were there, but during this time, Larry was contacting Mary Chris privately, like through text and calls, a lot more frequently than he normally did. And you have to remember, she's known Larry for a very long time, and just out of the blue, he randomly starts calling Mary Chris and asking her for marriage advice and advice on May and how Mary Chris's separation went with her previous husband. Mary Chris has been divorced before, so he was reaching out to her also asking how that whole situation happened because she shared children with her ex. In June of 2020, they went to Lake Habasal Habasale, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We all know I'm probably not, for a birthday party. And Mary Chris said that during this family trip that you could definitely tell that there was some tension between Larry and May, because they would walk away from the group, they would go to the car for a few hours, and you could tell that they would be fighting, and they would be there for a while, like hours, and then they would eventually come back. But at this time, May wasn't really opening up to anybody about her marriage, but Larry was. Larry was opening up to Mary Chris and saying like he thinks that May is going through a midlife crisis, and saying that he wants it to work, but how does he move on from May? Saying that she needs to take supplements because she's going through this midlife crisis, and asking what kind of supplements he should order for her. And he told her what kind of supplements he has bought for May. But Mary Chris honestly didn't believe her sister was going through a midlife crisis, and she said that she wasn't even concerned about it because she knows May's a strong person and she knows that she could get through anything. Now, they ended up showing a bunch of pictures of these family trips that they all took together and how everybody was in these pictures. Larry really wasn't smiling a lot in these pictures, but May had this beautiful smile as always. She has the most beautiful smile. And then Thanksgiving of 2020, they also took another camping trip, and this time Mary Chris said that nothing seemed unusual with May. May was happy. She was out riding. She was taking the kids out riding by herself in the dunes, and she's always interactive. But Larry was not really interactive. Larry never really went out and rode with himself or the kids. He always stayed at the camp. He just never really interacted or had fun. I don't know, maybe that's not Larry's thing. Then they went to Christmas of 2020. They were at their brother's house with most of the cousins and the siblings there. Larry and May were arguing that day, and Larry was trying to get May to talk to him, but May kept walking away from Larry and wanted nothing to do with Larry. She did not want to talk to Larry at all that day. She was very quiet, and she was not interacting with family as much, which is not like her. Mary Chris said that you could definitely see the tension between the two of them. Mary Chris said that May seemed more irritated with Larry, and then Larry would get upset with May because May would be irritated with Larry. Now, I want to back it up just a little bit because I do think that this is important to know, and it's really actually heartbreaking. But in October of 2019, May's mom was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm. They scheduled the surgery for March of 2020, but because of the pandemic, that surgery got pushed back. They were trying to keep their mom as comfortable as possible and as stress-free as possible, because Mary Chris said that this tumor was extremely big, and they're just trying to keep her comfortable. She's 79 years old, and my heart goes out to her. My thoughts go out to her. And y'all, whatever you do, whatever y'all believe in, please just have May's mom in your thoughts, because May still hasn't been found. And oh my gosh, I hope by now she has had that surgery. She hasn't set Mary Chris on stand, didn't say she's had that surgery so far, but at least I didn't hear her say it, but I hope she has, or I hope at least it's scheduled very soon. New Year's comes around 2021, and they went to Glamis, which is a campsite with, of course, the family. Now, May got this famous, beautiful white Jeep that we all know about, or at least if you've been following the case, y'all have seen this Jeep before. And she was super proud of this Jeep. She loved this Jeep. We all know that May loved to go off-roading, so this was the perfect vehicle for her. The only issue is Larry was the one riding that Jeep that whole entire trip. And Larry doesn't even ride the whole time. All the times before, when they went camping, Larry would be at the campsite. He would never go riding, but this trip, he's like all happy, and now all of a sudden wants to go off-roading in May's new Jeep that I'm sure she wants to go off-roading in. But he was literally constantly riding it to the point to where May had no time to ride it. May's family even told him like, hey, why don't you give May a turn? But he refused to let May drive and said, oh, she can come with me. But of course, May didn't want to go with him. May wanted to drive it herself. It's her dang Jeep. Ooh, this part made me so mad. They were also arguing quite a bit during this camping trip as well. Now y'all have to think, this is roughly 6-7 days before May disappears. And at this point, she was not trying to hide how she was feeling towards Larry whatsoever. Their fights were more out in the open, and May opened up to Mary Chris that night. She told her sister that she is ready to get a divorce, and she's going to get a divorce, and it is going to be nasty. She said, get ready because I have no control of my finances, but she's ready to file, and she was about to get paid, but she needed Mary Chris's help. She did say that they have a safe inside their home that had money in it, but she had no idea what Larry set the code to. She asked Mary Chris if there was any possible way if they could help May to get the divorce fee. She also said, if something happens to me, it was Larry. Mary Chris did tell May to be careful because she said that she knows that Larry has quite a bit of a temper. She remembers one time they all went to the mountains to go skiing, and Larry was going to drop all of them off at the front so they didn't have to lug all their snow equipment and everything to the front and then everywhere, because that stuff's heavy, it's a lot. So Larry was just going to drop everybody off in the front, but there was like this valet guy in the front that was directing Larry to not go in front and to go park instead. Well, that made Larry feel some type of way. It pissed Larry off. And instead, Larry went straight, hit the dude, dropped them off, and then continued to go park. Literally hit this guy. Mary Chris said that they were all shocked, didn't know what was going on. When Larry came into the shop to like go through this hotel, whatever, that he was stopped, they were questioned, and I guess everything was worked out because Mary Chris said that nothing happened. But y'all, that's alarming. Another red flag. So after that, Larry and May drove back from the camping trip on January 4th. And on the 4th, May texted her sisters, Mary Chris and Jane. And that's the text that I have mentioned in my previous videos about May borrowing $10,000 from them, and that they agreed that Mary Chris was gonna have $5 and Jane was gonna have $5, and then they would give Mary Chris $10,000 that way. As collateral, May offered her Rolex and her Louis Vuittons up, so is like good faith. And Mary Chris said that May told her that she planned to file no later than January 10th, which now we know May contacted the divorce attorney on January 7th, 3 days after that conversation with her sister. Now that week, they had that group text message on Facebook going about their trip to Big Bear for May's oldest daughter's birthday. And they were going Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now they were all texting, but they could tell that May wasn't viewing the text messages because, you know, in Facebook, your little icon picture, profile picture will pop up if you view the message, but May's was not popping up. So she was not viewing those messages. And she did not view those messages since January 7th. So Saturday, January 9th, Mary Chris talked to their dad, and that's when they knew something was wrong. That whole entire week, everyone tried to call May, and nobody got an answer from her. So that Saturday, January 9th, around 8 or 9 p.m. after dinner, Mary Chris and her husband decided to go by May's house. Larry and the kids were there. She said the house was a mess. There was boxes everywhere. And it was very unusual because May kept a very clean and tidy house. Larry told Mary Chris and her husband that May just went for a hike and she'd be back soon. But it was already dark outside. He also said that she left that morning, but he did not see her leave. And they had an argument previously that Thursday night, but that she was just at the park or at hiking, just clearing her mind. He also said that he thought May was having an affair with a guy at work. Mary Chris ended up calling May's friends, and when they had not heard from May, she ended up calling Chula Vista Police Department to report May missing. Now, before she did this, which is what set off kind of alarms with Mary Chris, is Larry was kind of trying to talk her out of doing it. Like, oh, just wait till 2 a.m., just wait till 3 a.m., like early hours in the morning to see if May comes home. This was 10 p.m. by the time Mary Chris called the police. Like, Why are you not concerned where your wife is, sir? The police department did tell Mary Chris to call hospitals, morgues, jails, all that to check to see if May is in any of those. And of course, May was not. Then Larry ends up going upstairs. He's not in a panic. He's calm. He acts like nothing's wrong. He's not trying to look for May, not trying to call her. Nothing. The cops ended up saying that she needs to wait 24 hours to place that missing persons report. And then that's when Mary Chris ended up walking throughout the house. She walked all throughout downstairs, the bedroom, all the downstairs bedrooms, the bathroom. She's just looking everywhere downstairs in denial that her sister is missing. I think I messed up. I meant to say Larry said that you have to wait 24 hours to report her missing, not the police told her that. My bad. But 3 officers ended up coming to the house. Mary Chris expressed her concern and let them know what was going on. Larry acted completely normal the whole time and told her that May does this. And she usually does this and stays at the park. Mary Chris and her husband stayed at their home that night on the couch in the family room, which is right beside the kitchen. And Larry spent, I would say, 99% of the time upstairs. Now, they showed this picture of this little, it looked like a lazy boy, like a little chair recliner. And they asked if that was the couch that they slept in. And they said no, that the couch that they slept in was not in that picture, which I think is very odd. Where is that tan leather couch that they slept in? It looks like the chair, it's like a matching set, but it's not. The sofa's not there, just the chair. January 10th ended up being Larry's birthday, so Mary Chris messaged her family for them to come over to May's house to celebrate Larry's birthday. But then they started canvassing the neighborhood and asking all the neighbors for video surveillance. The whole time, Larry stayed in the house and did not help whatsoever. The defense asked like how the kids were feeling, and she said that the oldest child seemed sad, but they were really busy playing with their cousins. They have a lot of cousins, so they were really occupied. And then after that, they went home. So that is it for day 1 and day 2. I will continue day 3 and day 4 in next week's video. I know a lot of y'all have followed this case along with me. And again, I'm very invested in this case. So I hope y'all stay with me, and I hope we see justice for May. I hope they find enough evidence in this preliminary hearing that sends this to actual trial. But again, if you have not heard about May's case, please don't forget to check out the playlist linked up here. I will also leave it down below in the description box. Please don't forget to like today's video and share wherever you can. Also, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? And you can see me 3 times a week. That might be too much for some of y'all. And hit that bell notification so you don't miss whenever I upload any videos. And thank you so very much to each and every single one of you. I cannot thank you enough for your time in general. You can't get that back. And for you to spend it to watch my videos and hear me talk, thank you. I cannot thank you enough, seriously. I hope you'll have an amazing week. If you wanna see more videos of mine, stay till the end screen. You will see a playlist and a suggested video that you would more than likely enjoy. Stay safe, stay aware of your surroundings. Bye, y'all.